You are tuned in to 50/50 News on the House of the Princess channel, hosted by Princess A.V, featuring world, local, celebrity, and YouTube news. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell as I give you the traditional news with a small twist of ratchet. Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the House of the Princess. You are watching 50/50 News. With me, I'm looking for my thing, your host, Princess A.V. Now, look, I had not planned on doing news back to back today. I mean, from yesterday to the day. I've been just getting a few things together, so I keep intending on doing more content, and it just never really kind of happens. But it's okay though. I'm gonna get to it, but I'm just finishing up some things and doing some things, some other business things that's important in school and stuff. So, but then I got this breaking news. Excuse me, the hair is taller than the camera. It's something I'm trying. So I'm not sure if I'll try it again, but we'll see. But nevertheless, how are you doing? Welcome. Not you here for the mess, for the fraud of it all. Yeah, so I'm going to try to make this a little bit more condensed than it was last night. So I do ask that you hit the like button and subscribe. Subscription is a free way of helping the channel. And so is the like button. Also, if anytime during the message that you would like to donate to the channel, keep the channel going, because the graphics cost, the lights cost. I'm going to have to upgrade equipment, and definitely StreamYard costs a lot. And excuse me, y'all, my allergies been acting up. I really didn't want to get on camera, but I said I'll get on camera today. So we have needs here, the Zoom costs, the internet costs. So giving to the channel very well does help, and it is appreciated, right? So we're going to get down to the mess. We have breaking news today. The officer, the one we saw get fired the other day, Lewis Lacey, the acting deputy chief, has been indicted on today. So in going down the rabbit hole on this, I got some more information that I never really uncovered about a former administrator and right-hand man to Tiffany Henyard. He got fired from both his jobs. So he got fired the other day as well, officially from Dolton. It depends on how you say it. Most of us say Dolton, but the people in news say Dolton, Illinois. He was, I just knocked on the desk. Okay. He was indicted earlier this year for bankruptcy fraud as well. And I got the PowerPoint slide so I can show y'all a little bit stuff more and more. Thank y'all for coming. Ain't seen some of y'all in a while. Thank you for coming. Tell a friend. Tell them come on in. I know some of my people split up elsewhere, but yeah, we're going to get this little local news going on. Okay. So where do I want to start? Okay. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Okay. I should have seen if I could find a news. I think I will try to find a news thing on Keith. We're going to call him Keith Freeman, okay? What is this, Dolton Township? Hey, Roxy Rocks. So we're going to do a little bit of reading Rainbow today, okay? Excuse me. Now, this is from April 16, 2024, about Mr. Keith Freeman. Okay. Dolton Township official Keith Freeman indicted for bankruptcy fraud. Keith Freeman, a top official at the Thornton Township and the village of Dolton, has been indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud charges that accuse him of lying about his assets and attempting to conceal money in an undisclosed bank account after he filed for bankruptcy in January. Freeman, an Orland Park resident, which I meant to look up, I'm going to look that up in a hot second, is charged with one count of bankruptcy fraud. According to the 11-page federal indictment, he serves as the municipality manager for Thornton Township as well as the village administrator in Dolton. False statements, and omissions. The indictment alleges that the bankruptcy filing submitted on January 3rd and on occasions where he was making statements under oath, Freeman made materially false statements and material omissions regarding his financial situation. Among these were claims that Freeman's 2022 gross income was $45,186 when his actual income was approximately $141,000, said the indictment. That's a $100,000 difference. Oh my God. Additionally, the charges state Freeman claimed that his 2023 gross income was $99,647,000 when his actual income was around $195,000. The indictment alleges that Freeman created a personal bank account in July of last year, which he deposited pay from both the Thornton Township and the village of Dolton, as well as the consultant company he owned. He did not include his account in his bankruptcy filings and federal prosecutors. While testifying under oath on January 30th, Freeman also said that he was not an employee of Dolton and did not receive payment from Dolton, both claims that were false and according to the indictment. Well, he's not an employee today, okay? Prosecutors further alleged that Freeman lied about his total debts, failing to disclose that the village of Robbins had filed a claim against him for $90,000, $396 for unauthorized payments he received while serving as the town's village administrator from 2017 to 2021. And they even got that much money in that old raggedy town. This omission deprived the village of Robbins of notice of opportunity to timely participate in the Freeman bankruptcy case, the indictment said. Ongoing investigation. Freeman has consistently supported the controversial actions of Tiffany Henyard, who serves as Thornton Township supervisor and the mayor of Dolton. According to the press release from the Northern District of Illinois State's Attorney's Office, Freeman was indicted as a part of ongoing federal investigation. The release also said an indictment is not evidence of guilt. The defendant is presumed innocent and entitled to a fair trial, which the government has the burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. If y'all could give me 1 second. Okay, we're talking about hiding money. Oh, it gets better. Let me see if I can find a video really quick to summarize all of this. And I don't know how I missed this, right? Earlier in the year. They saying he's a whistleblower, and I don't call him a whistleblower because when you're guilty of doing dirt, you're not a whistleblower. You're an informant. You're cooperating to keep your ass out of jail. That's all it is, sir. Let me see if this is a video real quick. Yes, it is. I'll fix it next time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Is you gonna play it or no? I guess it's all or no. Okay. Because you want me to put ads and shit on it? Let me find a video. And while I'm doing this, please press the like button. Please press the like button. Please press the like button. Even if you don't, okay? I just made that off the dome. I'm awesome, right? Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay.
Little troubles in Dolton. They are piling up for officials there. Today, a top aide appeared in federal court on bankruptcy fraud charges, and the village also faces another lawsuit. Our Regina Waldrop takes a look at both cases.
A top advisor to Dolton's mayor making his first appearance in federal court. Keith Freeman entered a not guilty plea to a scheme to commit bankruptcy fraud. The village administrator and manager of Thornton Township is accused of underreporting income from his jobs and from his private consulting business.
We're ready to defend with everything we have, anything that comes Mr. Freeman's way.
Freeman's attorney says he has no plans to step down from his positions. He also says this case has nothing to do with any other federal investigations.
We've had a couple of questions directed to me about whether or not this indictment means that...
Is it me or he looked really dopey and dumb back over there? Yeah, we down back to the Dolton. We're going to move back south again.
The government is effectively trying to squeeze Mr. Freeman into cooperation.
And a few days after Freeman was indicted, the FBI served 2 subpoenas at Dolton Village Hall.
If you look at the subpoenas, they're very specific.
Renato Mariotti is a former federal prosecutor. We reached out to him to find out what he thought about the recent developments.
There appears to be an active federal investigation, it certainly looks like the feds have something. They're not just fishing.
Dolton's government is marred in accusations of misspending, lawsuits, and probes. Tuesday, Mayor Tiffany Henyard and Freeman were hit with another lawsuit. This one filed in federal court by business owner Tyrone Isom Jr.
I was really excited when I came across that property because I was just waiting to put my stamp on Dolton so I can help the youth.
Isom says he bought this property on Sibley Boulevard for $85,000. He says he remodeled it, first hoping to open a barber shop, then a tattoo shop. But he claims his applications for business licenses were denied with no explanations as to why.
He's finally told, nope, the mayor wants the property.
Unable to open a business at the location, Isom says he was forced to sell the property. He's seeking compensatory damages plus attorney's fees. The village declined to comment on the lawsuit. As for Village Administrator Keith Freeman, he's expected back in court June 5th. At the Dirksen Federal Courthouse, I'm Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
Our thanks to Regina.
And he was back in court, and they are moving forward with the indictment, okay? In the indictment, okay? You're right. Whatever they said that did, he did that shit. Okay? And why y'all still RSVPing? Excuse me. Oh, now when I get on camera, oh, my nose start itching. And my allergy pill wear off. They all look ghetto. All look ghetto to me. So, that is Keith Freeman, okay? And so now that we have talked about Keith, now today's news is Officer Lacey. And before I read his story, let's go back. But not to that one. Oh, I need another. I look crazy on the camera. Oh, look at me. I don't like the way I look. Oh, I got it ready. Let's look at Deputy Chief, okay? Oh, well, this is a video, so yes. Here we go for the fraud. 2 for the fraud. Let's give it up for the fraud. Okay.
Is facing a bankruptcy charge tonight, leading to new questions about who's in charge of the police department and whether the feds are closing in on the village's mayor.
WGN's Jenna Barnes is live in Dolton now with the very latest. Jenna.
Dana and Ben, this is the second close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard to be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud. And the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey tells me this is all part of prosecutors' strategy to get them to turn on Henyard.
But they did that shit. So if I was a prosecutor, yep, you either gonna trick off or you going to jail. You going to jail.
The man at the helm of Dolton's police department, Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey, now facing federal charges.
It's a great day in Dolton. Justice is being served.
Lacey, an ally of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, is charged with bankruptcy fraud.
Now, if y'all been watching, you know that's Miss Stubbs. That's the lady that told them that they was going to jail. And she used to work in the jail. And she said she was going to put $1 on all of their commissary. I got a short on my channel, and you can watch it. It was funny.
Making false statements and perjury, accused of concealing his income and lying about his spouse's income to avoid paying more than $40,000 he owed in a lawsuit settlement, the case dating back to 2015. The indictment notes Lacey has filed for bankruptcy 7 times since the 1980s.
I'm just so happy because this man must be taken off the street. He does not need a gun or anything.
Those who've been pushing back against the Henyard administration are celebrating the charges, but Lacey's lawyer calls them a witch hunt.
They're trying to find people that will shy away and cooperate with them.
I'm sorry, but doesn't this sound like the same lingo that Trump uses in his administration?
Against the mayor.
Lacey is the second Henyard ally to face a bankruptcy fraud charge. Village Administrator Keith Freeman pleaded not guilty. He's now cooperating with the village trustees who are investigating the mayor, and some believe him to be a whistleblower as well.
They start with people that they believe that they can flip. They go down the line. They show up at 6 o'clock in the morning when a person is not lawyered up, when a person is just waking up, and they're telling you, oh, I'm here to talk to you and be nice to you and don't worry about it. And you're not under arrest. And then we're going to leave and we're not going to arrest you today. But here are some questions that we have for you. So immediately a person puts his foot in the mouth and from there, the fish is caught.
Is that what they did with Lacey?
To a certain degree, yes.
The indictment is separate from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's findings that Lacey was paid more than $200,000 in overtime in the last few years, despite not being eligible to receive OT.
With all due respect to Lightfoot, it was her conclusion. She is nobody. She's just the person that came out with a conclusion, and the village is taking it as if it was the scripture.
The village fired the deputy chief.
Oh my God. You see how he did that? She's just a nobody. It's written on paper. It's written on paper. It's in black and white. What the does he mean?
Last week, after placing him on leave, we're told he showed up to work even after receiving his notice of termination.
There are some good people working for the police department in Dolton. My wife and I have met a couple of them. And I hope the powers that be will allow one of the good ones to fill the space.
The community already looking ahead to where this indictment may lead.
We got to take the rest of the trash out.
Lacey's lawyer says he will surrender in court at a date yet to be determined, and he plans to plead not guilty. We're live in Dolton tonight. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Thank
you. You going to jail. You going to jail. Oh my goodness, these people is doing the most. You're going to jail. And we're going to also, I'm going to read this. And we're also going to go back to the reading. So I have the reading for him. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to read it. And then check this out. He's old. He's too old to be going to jail for this bullshit. Ain't no way I want to live like the latter years of my life in no motherfucking jail. It's not worth it. The former Dolton deputy police chief was indicted Monday by a federal grand jury in Chicago on bankruptcy fraud charges. The officer, identified as Lewis A. Lacey, 61, of Matteson, Illinois, is accused of concealing assets and income to avoid paying creditors and settling a lawsuit. Lacey faces a 9-count indictment, which includes charges of bankruptcy fraud, making false statements in a bankruptcy case, and perjury. Each count carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. His arraignment has not yet been scheduled. The indictment alleges that Lacey, who was purportedly filed multiple bankruptcy cases since the 1980s, submitted fraudulent petitions in 2019 and 2020 to halt the enforcement of a $55,000 settlement agreement from a 2017 lawsuit. The plaintiff in the case accused Lacey of still owing $43,000. Prosecutors claim Lacey underreported his monthly income, concealed bank accounts, and falsely stated that he was separated from his spouse to lower his repayment obligations. The indictment is a part of an ongoing federal investigation. At the time of the alleged fraud, Lacey was serving as a police officer with the Dolton Police Department. Last week, Lacey was fired from the police department during a contentious village board meeting involving Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Trustees cited the need to reduce payroll as a reason for his termination. He is now the second Dolton administrator, close to Henyard, who's been hit with bankruptcy fraud charges. Village manager Keith Freeman is also facing those charges. So, when there's smoke, there's fire. They want to say it's a witch hunt, and even Tiffany saying, oh, they're choosing to fire him, or they're pinpointing him or whatever. No, like, y'all did this. And it looks like they have conspired together, just from my observation. That's the word I'm looking for. That y'all are all doing the same thing. And this is not what's up. So we're also going to we looked at this really quick. I'm going to go back to it. Is this from yesterday? I didn't watch all this. This was the board meeting on last Monday. And they came back from the special meeting and his ass was fired. Because I think they said it right here real quick, because she was mad as hell and felt that he was pulled out. And I just found out today they tried to fire her and they couldn't.
All right. Thank you for waiting on us. Clerk, are you ready? All right. Can we have a motion to resume our board meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll.
Okay. Hold on. Goodness. Trustee Belcher. Trustee Stan Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye. Not fast forward.
Aye, Ms. Now.
And regarding the personnel matters.
Motion to approve the personnel matters listed on agenda item M, items M, good Lord, I need glasses, M, A through F.
All right, is there a second? All right. Because we was in closed session, we cannot really discuss it, but I will make a statement for the record. I already told the Board of Trustees that this is political retaliation. This is targeting, and they should not target these individuals to try to lay them off. I also told them that they will be sued for doing so, but yet they still choosing to pick these people, which they said Keith Freeman gave them. So make sure y'all add him in y'all lawsuit to target just these individuals. Normally when you do layoffs or consider layoffs, you normally go, you meet with management staff and you go line by line, or you go over things or where people can make cuts at and do things to make it make sense. Right now, people are voting with their emotions, and they're not being wise as it relates to handling the business and allowing the business to handle them. So again, I am totally against this. As you know, I told them y'all do what y'all think y'all can do, and I'm gonna do what I need to do. So they're gonna vote for it, but again, these people will still be employed here in the village of Dolton. So I'm just making sure that everyone is crystal clear of that. So when it happens, you understand the why. Okay, clerk.
Mayor, I have a comment. For
the roll. Oh, you got a comment now, huh?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So the layoffs are due to financial issues that the village of Dolton has. I did mention already that managers who may have spoken up asked that we do not include their names for fear of retaliation. So there's also trying to insinuate that Freeman is the one that gave us this incorrect. This decision came about because our finance consultant, the CPA firm, let us know that we are in dire need and layoffs need to happen. This is I hate to say this because I don't want to cause a big panic, but this is a starting point because we are finally beginning to get information, because for months and months we would indicate that we don't have financials. We haven't had it for 7 months, 8 months, 9 months. So I know many people heard that. So this meeting is the first time you hear Trustee Belcher and us reference financials that we've started to get in review. And we got a lot of that information due to the investigation by former Mayor Lori Lightfoot. So that information is the reason for many of the actions taken this evening with credit card spending, as well as this beginning of some of the layoffs. It's unfortunate. There's a lot more that we have to do. So we're starting to identify the picture, and we have to identify a plan forward. And unfortunately, this is part of that plan. Thank you.
All right. And I just want to clear some up that he just stated. He stated that Keith Freeman was not the one that gave it to him. And I quote, Trustee Kiana Belcher stated that they got this list from Keith Freeman. So I wish y'all can listen to the tapes down a closed session and you would hear her say that's who gave y'all this list. So again, this is targeted. Y'all targeting individuals, and that's not right. I still believe you guys should go to the drawing board and figure it out, whatever it is. Again, the mayor had no say-so in this. They just did what they wanted to do, and you're supposed to sit here and talk about things of importance such as a layoff, because at the end of the day, this is somebody's livelihood that you guys are playing with. Y'all can point fingers, place blame, do whatever you feel you need to do, but at the end of the day, you guys still are going about it the wrong way, and you should not pick individuals because they don't follow your orders or don't listen to you or whatever y'all feel is going on. You guys should still go back to the drawing board and figure out a better way, because there's always another way to do something. And as it relates to financials, once everything come up, I did tell everybody that we was going to do a town hall meeting as it relates to the financials, because everyone's waiting on financials. We all are. So I just want to clear that up as well, because people like to just say stuff, but they don't educate the public on how.
She says they all are waiting on financials, when in fact she is the only one who has access to the financials.
And the whys, like I'll give you another example. Do you know that we have union contracts, different things that goes towards a budget, but no one's telling you that. So once it goes to the budget, where's the extra revenue that you brought in to cover the budget amount? You just give somebody a raise, but yet you got to figure out how to pay that out. And then when they try to cut things like I said earlier before we went downstairs, code enforcement. Why would you cut the only thing where people are producing revenue? They go out and they write tickets for people that ain't cut their grass, whether it's the bank or whoever, and other issues in our community. So what I'm saying to you is you rather lay people off, like I said, peanuts, compared to the things that you claim is needed. So again, that's my statement for the record. I'm still advising the Board of Trustees not to go forward with this hit list that Keith Freeman put together on people that he don't like or get along with. And I think the board should be wiser and speak up about what it is.
May I be recognized?
And it's not going off the list that was provided to us. That is my opinion of it. Go ahead.
Okay, so when you quote me, make sure you do it right. I stated inside of executive session, which you want to bring it up anyway, that we had a meeting with Kasperik's office, which is Lauren, and this was the advice of the accounting firm by way of email. It came from Keith Freeman. Now, what's crazy to me is that 1 minute you do the day-to-day operations, 1 minute Keith do the day-to-day operations. So it's when it fits your agenda. So whether it, to my knowledge, Keith Freeman is still employed here and is the village administrator, because we have not seen anything set forth and except for the next meeting that's about to start, termination, that when something comes through the village administrator, which, I mean, for 3 years, well, I'll say he's been here 2 years, we haven't been getting nothing. So when these things come, because that's your right-hand man, then we would be able to move forward with what's presented to us. Also, and sit in a 3-hour meeting with somebody that's finally given us some financial information, you go by the people that you pay the money to say these are the recommendations that you guys need to have. Whereas if it was a hit list, she would have been the first one on the list. So I don't think it's considered a hit list. I think it's just a start of trying to move in a direction to clean some of this mess that she and him has gotten us in. I mean, if we want to say it, we're saying it. However it may be. The Board of Trustees don't have a credit card. The Board of Trustees ain't making contracts and signing off on 37%, 27% leases. The Board of Trustees ain't going out telling people, cut all the trees, give me an estimate. It's only $2.8 million. The Board of Trustees ain't doing that. So you got us into this mess, and now we're trying to salvage what we can to get out, and you sitting here talking about a hit list like we on the street. So we are doing what we can do with the limited resources that we have to start making financial decisions now that we've got a little information. I think one in particular item on there that she's really mad about is her strong arm might be a limp arm. I release.
Okay.
So yeah, she is mad, big mad. And after I did some more research and I got some more understanding of well, that's what you get in a small city, okay? How many of these government officials use proper English? It's the new millennium, honey. And so I did the more research and I understood more clearer of what was going on with Keith Freeman. So this is Deputy Chief Lewis Lacey. So at this point, he already knew that he was fired, okay, or they called it laid off, okay. This was the beginning of the end. We're not going to listen to his speech again. We listened to that shit yesterday. Keith Freeman, they calling him a whistleblower. Again, I do not recognize him as a whistleblower. A whistleblower is somebody that sees wrong and they do something about it and they call it out. He is an informant because he is wrong and he know he's doing wrong, and so he won't go to jail. He has flipped, and that is why Tiffany had an attitude during this meeting, and Keith Freeman was watching, or he was in the bushes or whatever. She fired him herself. She was angry. She is currently angry with him because now, in order to keep himself out of jail and in order to keep himself out of the investigation, he is now cooperating with the fellow trustees in the board in order to take Tiffany down. So if I was, I'd fire your ass too, because she been paying him and doing shit for him all this time, and now he done flipped on her. The officer did not flip on her, but she has flipped on her. I want to play both of these. I don't know if you're going to listen. Yes, please hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button. Support the girl while we watching this. Okay. Excuse me. So as I said before, I was going to try to get a hold to the paperwork. Okay, and I did. And so before I go over the part that Lori Lightfoot announces this, I'm going to go it again. Let's bring it down a little bit. Just a little bit. Come on. Just a little bit. There we go. So this is the revenue and expenditures of Dolton. I'm going to make this big because y'all don't have to see me, especially my nose itching. Okay. When she came into the office was 2021. Okay. So then this was, oh, come on. Hold on, y'all. The revenue and the expenditures, sorry about that. The general administration, this is what they highlighted. General administration and administrative compensation. So that's Keith Freeman, that's the trustees, that's Mayor Henyard. This is what they're getting paid, the pay bucket, right? So when she got in all 3 years, they have not turned in this information to the state, which is mandated by the law. They haven't checked none of this shit in. Excuse me. In fiscal year 2020-22, okay, their total revenue in the village was $24,075,364. And out of that, $6,367,705 went to payroll of the trustees and the administration folks down there to the Dolton. The police department payroll was $7,694,645. Okay. And guess what? The police department make that much, but guess how much the fire department, that one little firehouse, makes? $3,884,200. And that's not on the docket, but the police officers, they didn't get an increase in pay. They actually got a decrease in pay by this year. So in fiscal year 2023, the government they got paid $9,169,484. The police department went up another $1 million, $8,607,415. Then this past year, 2024, $9,389,025. And the police is another $1 million, $9,268,607. And those are significant changes from 2022. And if you're able to see, and you can see in the red how the deficit went every year. And they're still bringing in $24 million, give or take a couple of $100. But the payout is increasing significantly, right? Public Works went up $1 million from 2022 to 2023. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom charge, and this is what they talk about them cars in Tahoe, Tiffany, and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken. In 2022 is $190,008. By 2023, it jumped significantly, $707,030. And then in 2024, $1,564,089 for the cars and things and leasing and borrowing things. Excuse me for a second. I had to blow my nose. So we're going to jump down. Okay. Okay. So this is the breakdown. Increasing expenditures in general administration. General administration and administrative compensation expenditures have increased approximately 47%. Okay. 47% since fiscal year 2022. That's 6.4 million in 2022 to 9.4 million in 2024. So this is how much they spent. Well, she was paying herself. With the general administration and administrative compensation expenditures, categories and large increases include, but are not limited to. Now, this liability insurance, okay, I'm sure it went up with all these people, you know, they suing. And when you don't pay bills and when you buying all this extra stuff, your insurance is higher and you have more liability. They say she was screwing the village administrator, Keith Freeman, allegedly. You know, that's her boo thing. But Lacey, he was getting all those kickbacks. So that's what we're going to talk about. And she had people out there 24 hours a day. So liability insurance in 2022 was $1,163,313. And in 2023, it went up $1,936,598. Now, this past year, insurance was $3,219,576. So, you know, they was really fucking up some shit. You know what I'm saying? The phone bill went down, you know. The other numbers, and even this miscellaneous jumped up from $245,000 to $615,000 in 2023, but it went back to $231,000 in 24. Those are significant jumps. What were you spending the money on? These numbers are supposed to be kind of consistent and in the same area. So now we have the polices. And I'm going to go over this, but I want to have Miss Lori Lightfoot explain this one more time, how this money went.
Other miscellaneous expenses in that police officers are compensated according to the professional. Let me drill a little bit down also in what we're seeing so far with the police department. Those expenditures have increased approximately 21% since FY 22. Some of that is obviously driven by the union contract and making sure that there's retro pay and that police officers are compensated according to the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, and if you can't understand what happened, they did have a union contract. And, you know, even like my job, we worked without a contract for a year. And then, you have retro pay because you have a contract. And when you do settle the contract, you have to pay the retro pay for what you hadn't been paid all that time. And you had to give the raise. So she said they made room for that, but it still fucks you.
Within the police department expenditures, categories with large increases include overtime, other miscellaneous expenses, and I will tell you we don't know exactly what that is, but we're working on unpacking that, contractual services, other professional services, and medical insurance. We wanted to highlight for you, particularly given overtime, what we saw as two outliers in officers, Officer Terry Young and Officer William Reed. Both of these individuals in the last 2 years have earned more in overtime than their base compensation. And you can see these numbers here. Officer Terry Young in FY 2023 earned $194,290 total in the base salary and the overtime. And then in FY 2024, that increased to $227,351, combining the base salary and the overtime. Officer Reed for FY 2023 had a total earnings of $145,450, and in FY 2024, $192,732. We thought it also important for you to know that Acting Chief Lacey has accumulated overtime. It's our understanding that he is not part of the collective bargaining unit and has not been for some time, which under normal circumstances would mean that he is not entitled to overtime. But as you can see here, for FY 22, FY 23, and FY 24, and we're now in fiscal year 2025, through those 4 years, he's accumulated $215,747 just in overtime.
Okay, so I wanted to play that just in case anybody come on here talking about it's fake news. Again, she said that this police officer, Officer Lacey, was not in the union. He was not under contract to get whatever the retroactive pay. And because he was not in the union, he's a different type of employee, then he was not eligible to receive overtime pay, yet he was receiving overtime pay. Double his pay, okay? It's illegal to even work all the hours that they were clocking for the overtime. So she was saying right here, the police department expenditures from fiscal year 2022 went from 7.7 million to 9.3 million in 2024. Overtime in 2022 was $799,632. In 2023, it doubled, basically $1,469,862. 2024, $1,679,161. And so that was the money that she was paying him and his cronies and his friends, her friends, in order to be there around. I see these professional services and contractual services I'm not sure what they are, but I also know that she was getting her hair and her makeup done on the Village. So I don't know how that was paid, or if it's in this budget that started at $89,000 and ended at $127,000. So it says, we are aware of at least 2 officers within the police department who were paid more in overtime pay than regular pay in 2023 and 2024. Okay. Overtime. Terry Young. Neither one of these is Lacey. But these are regular officers. Terry Young in 2023, his pay is $72,000. Okay, you owed him $4,000 for retro, right? But she gave him $108,969 in overtime. How the fuck you work more overtime than what you get paid? Where they do that at? I need a job like that. And you in the union. This past year, $87,000. So he got a huge raise, right? $87,295. Time due, $25,000. I guess that's the hours. $25,257 in time due. His overtime pay was $114,800. So he earned $227,351. That's as much as the goddamn president makes in the United States. Now she raising her legs to the moon. Officer William Reed, his regular pay is $55,349. His overtime take home was $87,871 for a total of $145,450 last year. And this year, his pay jumped from $55,000 to $73,515. And his overtime was $102,077 with a total of $192,732. They was coming in and just clocking in and going home and shit. They was going on trips and shit with this bitch. Okay, so this is Mr. Lacey, who is now indicted for bankruptcy fraud. We understand that active Chief Lacey has not been included in the collective bargaining unit for some time. He has received overtime pay in fiscal year 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. These amounts are through July 12, 2024. Fiscal year 2022, he made $39,546. In 2023, it jumped up. His pay went to $67,548. Fiscal year 2024, $96,461. And so far this year, he has made $12,192. So from 2022 till now, his pay has been $215,747. Okay. Okay, and this is unfunded expenditures. Since March of 2023, the Village has been unable to pay all of its expenditures monthly with its available cash balance. And since that time, nearly every month, a portion of the checks approved and printed have been held by the Village due to unavailability of funds. Per John Kasperik's company records, as of June 18th, 2024, there are 589 checks totaling over $6 million that have been approved and printed, but not sent to the vendors. The $6 million of the held checks does not account for the additional monies potentially owed by the village for which checks have not been printed. And this includes invoices that have been received by the village departments but not entered into the accounting system, my viewpoint. Invoices that have been entered into the accounting system but have not been approved by the department heads and or the village administrator. Invoices that have not been approved for payment by the board of trustees. In our cash status. The bank balance. The village has 22 different bank accounts. The majority of these accounts are designated for special revenue funds or bond escrow funds. As such, the funds are restricted and cannot be used for general operations. The police, fire, IMRF pension assets are held in trust accounts and are not included in the 22 bank accounts above. The village uses one account as its main operating account to pay the majority of its expenditures. Excuse me. April 30th, 2021, $1,492,985. June 30th, 2024, it went all the way down to $715,914. A decrease of $777,071. $777,071. Okay. The bank balance. In addition to its main operating account, the village has historically held an excess cash in an interest-bearing account managed by the Illinois Treasurer's Office called the Illinois Funds. This is where y'all heard the big money. In April of 2021, we had $2,030,355. And as of June 30th, 2024, $3,909. Like I said, I know some of y'all got more than that in the goddamn bank yourselves. This town is gonna have bad credit and everything else. So somewhere they took $2,026,446. And this is the deficit. The general fund cash position, as shown in monthly financial reports, has deteriorated substantially since April of 2022. Dolton had $4.95 million, and it is now in deficit of $5.68 million. That shit gonna look like Gary when they done. And this is the credit card. Again, we'll go over it again, which y'all was talking about. Okay. We are aware of 6 different credit cards that have been in use at various points in time from January 2021 through at least May 2024. For American Express cards that appear to have been used by the police department, statements associated with these cards were addressed to Ernest Mobley, Robert Collins, and Lewis Lacey. Lewis Lacey, oh, that name sounds familiar, right? This is the same Lewis Lacey who is the deputy chief of the police department. This is the same Lewis Lacey who just got fired. This is the same Lewis Lacey who is being indicted on bankruptcy fraud. This is the same Lewis Lacey who just accumulated $214,000 in overtime in the last 2 years. One American Express card for which statements were addressed to Keith Freeman, village administrator. This is the same Keith Freeman who is now cooperating with the trustees because of fraud. This is the same Keith Freeman who is being indicted on bankruptcy fraud. This is the same Keith Freeman who got fired from the Thornton Township and now fired from the village of Dolton. And 1/5 third card, which statements are addressed to the village, aka Tiffany Hilliard. Okay. To date, we've received some, but not all credit card statements. Why? Because Tiffany's people are not cooperating and giving up the information. We understand that from John Kasperick Company manager that receipts for the credit card purchases are rarely provided. Further, we understand that the credit card balance is paid as a matter of course and is reflected in the accounting records as miscellaneous police department expenditures. And we can go back and look at that again. These payments do not appear on a warrant list and therefore not presented for board approval. We understand from John Kasperick Company manager that the only time a credit card charge would be reflected on a warrant list is if a receipt is provided. So what they're saying is they're paying these credit cards without even putting it in front of the trustees. They're not providing receipts. They're not telling anybody what's going on. They're sliding them under the radar. While we do not have a complete set of credit card statements, there are some purchases that require further investigation. Some examples of notable charges are identified below, and that is, in fact, the Amazon purchases. One transaction of $33,005 in one day. So what's that? $41,000. $43,000. Wayfair. She bought something for $77,000 or $7,700. I really think these are gift cards they bought from Walgreens. Best Buy. $2,200 in Best Buy in 1 month. It's for Christmas. It's for the kids. So then there's that. And these are, we couldn't understand clearly all of the travel yesterday. But it says, in addition, there are also several charges related to travel, such as Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama in March 2023. So not only did she stay in the Four Seasons, she must stay in hotels like the Four Seasons and travel first class. But she's got people with her. I don't know if they traveling first class or whatever, but I'm sure they're traveling nice if she's traveling nice. 5 known travels, and they say known because that means it could be somebody else. Washington, D.C. in March of 2023. 4 known travelers. Las Vegas, Nevada in May 2023. 8 known travelers. Jackson, Mississippi in June 2023. 3 known travelers. Okay. And this, let's go back to this Las Vegas. That's when the sexual assault allegedly happened. Austin, Texas in July. 3 known travelers. Portland, Oregon in July. 4 known travelers. Central and Southern Illinois in September 2023. 10 hotel rooms. Okay. That was supposed to be her spring field trip with the foundation for cancer and all that. New York City in October 2023, one person. Atlanta, Georgia, November 2023, one known traveler. So we don't need this, all this. That's just a summary. We have a little while before we know the rest of what is going to happen. So I just wanted to give the breaking news, and then I wanted to share the rest of that with you while we were here, that I got my hands on it. So the deputy chief is indicted for bankruptcy fraud and fraud. I think he might cooperate, but we all know that Keith Freeman, he's a snitch, he's a flip. And so they all deserve to do time. They all deserve to go to jail, because not only have they done it, but they're not sorry that they're doing it. They're not stopping. They're doubling down on the mess. And warning comes before destruction. That's all I can say. So if you have any questions, I didn't do it yesterday, so we're in an hour. I'll give y'all 15 minutes. You let me know if you want me to drop the link, and I can give you like 15 minutes to talk. Because I think I said yesterday, I never drop the link during the news. But I'll do it today if y'all really want me to. Y'all got like 10 seconds to answer. Do you want me to drop the link? I haven't really seen any comments in a long time. Okay, y'all quiet. And so with that being said, I am going to move on. And we're going to wrap this up. I'm sorry about that. I sound just as ghetto as her, but I got a little cough drop in here in my mouth. I want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank everyone for supporting, for watching and liking and sharing, because I'm assuming that you showed some manners and you hit the like button. I thank you. I ask that you subscribe. And if you're watching this on the replay, do the same. And if you want to make sure that you hear every time I go live about whatever subject, including this one, change your notifications to all. Please support the channel. I'm struggling right about now until I go back to work. So it'd be great if you could cash out, Venmo, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Super Chat, or on the replay, you have the option of giving by pressing super thanks to support the channel and to support your content creators. At least you're not articulate. I appreciate you. So with that being said, this is today's breaking news on what's going on down in Dolton. Since y'all want me to talk about it, I'll talk more about it. But these next couple of weeks, you're going to see a whole bunch of political conversation from me. So just look for it. If nobody has told you that they love you, I'm going to tell you that I love you. Go and hug your children. Go hug yourself. Tomorrow, go out and get some vitamin D or some vitamin D and some sun on your face, okay? And go and touch some grass, okay? My name is Princess A.V., and you have been watching the 50/50 News. Now it's time for me to turn out the lights. I appreciate you being here. Bye.